Gabby Williams has always carried herself with a sense of resilience and quiet determination, the kind of qualities that make her story worth telling and her journey worth following. Born in Sparks, Nevada, she grew up in an environment where athleticism and competitive spirit were part of everyday life. From the time she was a child, it was evident that she possessed not only physical gifts but also the mentality of a competitor who refused to settle for anything less than her best. Unlike some players whose talents are confined to a single sport, Gabby excelled in multiple disciplines: track, soccer, and of course basketball. Her speed, coordination, and explosiveness made her stand out no matter the setting. But for all her natural ability, what truly set her apart even in her earliest years was her commitment to the process. She was not content with being good at something by chance. She wanted to work, to refine her skills, and to push herself to levels others may not have dared to reach. As she developed as a basketball player, Gabby began to show the versatility that would define her career. Coaches marveled at her ability to guard players of different sizes, her willingness to do the dirty work, and her innate basketball IQ that allowed her to see the game differently than most. She was never the kind of athlete who demanded the spotlight or chased stats for validation. Instead, she took pride in the little things: the rebound in traffic, the defensive stop, the extra pass. These qualities may not have always made headlines in youth tournaments or high school showcases, but they planted the seeds of the player she would become. And as recruiters began to notice her potential, it became clear that her future would involve playing at the highest levels of the sport. Choosing the University of Connecticut was not a decision made lightly, but it was one that aligned perfectly with Gabby's vision of growth. At UConn, under Gino Auriemma, there was no hiding. Every player was held accountable, every weakness was exposed, and every strength was demanded on a nightly basis. Gabby entered this environment knowing it would test her, and that was exactly what she wanted. She didn't shy away from the challenge of playing for the most dominant program in women's college basketball. She embraced it. And in doing so, she carved out a role that would not only help UConn continue its dynasty but would also shape her into the kind of professional who could adapt and thrive anywhere in the world. During her time at UConn, Gabby Williams became known as the ultimate team player. She wasn't always the player scoring the most points, but she was often the one making the biggest impact. Her defense was suffocating, her energy was infectious, and her ability to fill gaps in any lineup made her indispensable. She could guard taller forwards, switch onto guards, rebound with ferocity, and contribute offensively when called upon. There were games where her stat line might not capture the full extent of her influence, but anyone who watched closely understood that her presence was often the difference between good and great. She embodied the selflessness that is so often preached but rarely perfected, and in doing so, she helped UConn maintain its championship pedigree. Transitioning to the WNBA is a challenge for even the most accomplished college players, but Gabby approached it with the same adaptability that had defined her from the start. Drafted by the Chicago Sky, she quickly proved that her game translated to the professional level. Her defensive versatility became her calling card, with coaches recognizing her ability to guard nearly every position on the floor. In a league where speed, strength, and skill are at their peak, Gabby found ways to carve out her space, not always with highlight plays, but with the kind of consistency and reliability that teams value deeply. She embraced whatever role was asked of her, whether it was starting, coming off the bench, or providing defensive intensity during key stretches. For Gabby, the measure of success was never about personal accolades but about impact, about making her team stronger each time she stepped on the floor. Yet her professional journey was not without challenges. Injuries tested her resolve, forcing her to step away at times and recalibrate. The mental and physical demands of professional basketball can break even the most talented players, but Gabby approached each setback as an opportunity to grow. She refused to let adversity define her, choosing instead to use it as fuel. When she returned to the court after injury, she did so with the same determination that had carried her since childhood. These moments of resilience became as much a part of her story as her defensive stops or her rebounds, painting the portrait of an athlete who understood that perseverance is often the most important skill of all. Gabby's career also found new dimensions internationally. Playing for France, she expanded her influence beyond the WNBA, showcasing her talents on the global stage. Representing a national team brought with it not only pride but also responsibility. For Gabby, it was about embracing her identity, honoring her heritage, and competing against the best players in the world. Her contributions for France highlighted the same qualities that defined her in college and the WNBA: defensive intensity, adaptability, and selflessness. But more than that, it showed her willingness to step outside her comfort zone, to embrace new challenges, and to continue evolving as a player and as a person. Her international career gave fans across the globe a chance to appreciate her value, and it cemented her reputation as someone who could thrive in any environment. In many ways, Gabby Williams became a symbol of basketball's universality. Someone whose game spoke a language that transcended borders, uniting fans through effort, resilience, and passion. She demonstrated that being a professional athlete is not just about what happens in one league or one country, but about building a career that touches lives and inspires people everywhere. Off the court, Gabby has been just as impactful. She has spoken openly about mental health, reminding fans and fellow athletes alike that success in sports is not only about physical ability but also about mental well-being. By sharing her perspective, she has helped destigmatize conversations that are often overlooked in the world of professional athletics. She has also shown the importance of balance, finding joy outside of basketball and using her platform to encourage others to prioritize self-care and authenticity. This honesty and openness have made her relatable to fans who see in her not just an athlete, but a human being navigating the complexities of life while pursuing excellence. Her journey continues to resonate because it is not built on flash or fame, but on substance. Gabby Williams has shown that greatness in basketball can come in many forms. It can come from scoring titles and MVP awards, but it can also come from versatility, from resilience, and from a willingness to do the things that don't always make highlight reels. She has proven that success can be measured not only in numbers but in trust, in reliability, and in the respect of teammates and coaches. That kind of legacy is often harder to define but no less powerful, and it is what makes Gabby Williams such a unique figure in the sport. As her career continues, there is a sense that Gabby still has more to give, more to accomplish, and more to prove, not because she needs validation, but because her story has always been about growth. Each chapter of her journey has been marked by adaptation, by finding ways to thrive no matter the circumstances. Whether in the WNBA, on the international stage, or in her life beyond basketball, she carries with her the lessons of resilience, selflessness, and determination. These qualities will ensure that her influence endures, not only through her play but through the example she sets for those who look up to her. Gabby Williams represents a model of what it means to be an athlete in today's world. She is a competitor, yes, but she is also a role model, a voice, and a presence that transcends the box score. She reminds us that the game is about more than points and rebounds. It is about resilience, about adaptability, and about the courage to keep pushing forward when the road is difficult. Her story is one of perseverance, of embracing challenges, and of staying true to herself, and it will continue to inspire those who follow in her footsteps. In the end, Gabby's journey is not defined by a single moment or a single accomplishment. It is defined by the collection of choices, sacrifices, and efforts that have shaped her career. It is about the time she has adjusted, the time she has risen after setbacks, and the time she has proven that value is not always loud or flashy but consistent and dependable. Her legacy is still being written, but already it is one worth celebrating, one that shows the many ways greatness can manifest. And as fans, teammates, and young players look at her story, they see a powerful reminder that success is not about fitting into a mold but about creating your own path, and that in doing so, you can leave an impact that lasts long after the game is over.